What's up, and welcome to yet another episode of the FPV Livestream. I'm Paul Nurkala, aka NURK FPV. Anybody ready for fire? Good evening, welcome to yet another episode of the FPV Livestream. Is this coming from here? Or here? Nah, it's coming from here. Okay. I am your host, NURK, Paul Nurkala, aka NURK FPV, and today we're going to be building a Racer3. I have a few of them, but they're all busted. And I can't practice without them being fixed, so I'm gonna fix them, and that's the plan. So you're gonna see how a Racer3 is built from the ground up. Hopefully that's interesting to you. If it's not, too bad. If you if you're trying to get my attention, you want to ask a question about the build, about drone racing in general, about DRL, about whatever, feel free. The only guaranteed way I'll get you an answer is if you use the super chat, which is $2 to ask a question or something like that. It's it is what it is. Definitely be sharing the link to this so that we can continue to do more of them over time. And yeah, in the meantime, let's jump right into this build. I'm gonna switch over to this guy. Oh, my face is big. Let's get rid of some of that. Nope, 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 nope. You go back there, and you go away. Nobody cares about you. How can I become a DRL racer? Well, so that's a good question, and it's hard to answer. So I'm going to tear these LEDs off because they are actually broken. These ones and these ones, but the ones on the back are all good, so I'm going to leave those. Actually, before I get too far, I'm just going to get rid of this. So this is one that I have had for a while that I haven't been flying, just because I've got other ones that are customized more. Yeah, it's probably such a pain. Yeah. And then, so with the Racer3, need tools. What up? Yeah, so I don't know what the real answer for how does somebody become a DRL racer, but I can tell you what my process was. And for me, it was kind of it was a combination of networking, getting in front of people and being like, hey, I want to do this. As well as it was a process of, being, skilled, right? You gotta be able to compete to be a part of it. So I kind of harangued people. I was emailing, I was getting connected with pilots in DRL and trying to be around and available. And then, as soon as I took second place at Drone Worlds out in Hawaii, I got the call to come back to come onto DRL literally the next day. So it was it was a matter of both skill, networking, building a reputation, building a following, and winning some races, or nearly winning some races. So it's just a combination of those things, and I think that's true for all of the pilots. Is they all have they have built and worked hard to become recognized within the community, but they've also worked hard to win races and be talented at what they do, be some of the best of the pilots in the world. Where can I get a Racer3? That is Not currently possible. It's you got to be on the show. You got to get on DRL to get yourself a Racer3. I know a couple have been sold to people, and a couple have been given away as prizes, but those are very far and few in between. So, you know, those it's kind of an exclusive thing. It's kind of cool, like that. I think Jaws is selling one. I highly doubt that Jaws is selling one, but I guess I wouldn't be that surprised. Yeah, winning contests is good. Alright, let me make sure that some of these LEDs work. Ding, ding, ding. It's Willy pink, and both of the bottom side ones are as well. That's nice. Alright, I'm going to set this aside for now. And pull out this one. So this is the one that's broken right now. The 5-volt regulator, I believe, it was lit on fire, and it no longer turns on. So I have to, it's not very easy to swap the regulator or the 5-volt, so it's actually easier for me to just take it all the way apart and put it into a new PDB than it is to try to depin the flight controller and all that stuff. So and once again, if I miss a question or something, just definitely throw it at a super chat, and I will for sure see it then. I'm trying to keep up, but you know, there's 130 of you and only one of me. And once again, you know, in order to support this, definitely share this and check it out. What are they running for motors on the Racer3? The Racer3 uses, these are Brother Hobbies. They're 2207 1800 kV motors that we run with 6-inch props and 1800, or sorry, and 5-cell. So like on a normal quad, a normal quad being like, you know, a 2400 kV 4-cell or a 1700 kV 6-cell, it would perform very similarly, but this one is a little bit heavier, so you know how that goes. What are those ESCs? Each of these are RG20 plus ESCs, old school. I believe that was a factor of quantity, like in order to have that many ESCs, they had to find a manufacturer that was capable of producing all of these. These are 20 amp ESCs, but they're rated for they're rated for 20 amps, but they're capable of like 43 or something ludicrous like that. So yeah. Let's see. So I should be able to take this off. Snip these zips. So the FPV and the RC components all just kind of come in this one piece. This like sits on top of this, and then this thing bolts into the over the flight controller. The whole PCB here, right here, is soft mounted, so the flight controller can be hard mounted and things can be stuck to the flight controller, but this moves around and is soft mounted, so that's kind of their way around that potential issue. Go ahead and desolder. This is the VTX and camera harness that I use. The Racer3 has its own special components for the show, but at home we use it with unifies and crossfires, just because that suits our ability to practice. Can you tell us a story about your first few flights and what happened, or what you would have done differently? It's an interesting one. So my first flight, Well, let's start with, I've got first non-FPV flights and first FPV flights. So my first like non-FPV flight was like a toy, right? You know, my in-laws bought me this little Hubsan X4, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of or have had. And they bought that for me for Christmas one year. And so my first flights were definitely on that, and I used that religiously. I got really, I wouldn't say I got good at it, but I practiced it as much as I could, so that once I got into real quads, I would be capable of flying without crashing. And then my first quad build was a couple months later, after I did a bunch of research and painstakingly researching and learning and and trying to understand all of the different facets of what makes these things fly, and eventually did Mini Quad Bros had a kit for a ZMR 250 which I bought and built, and it flew on the first plug-in actually. So like the first time I built one, it worked and flew. The YouTube there's actually a YouTube video of it, like if you go way back in my channel, and you could find that video of that flight where my wife is like holding my phone and recording it. So that's all the way back there. So, and then my first FPV flights, I had a local friend that actually had gotten into drone racing just before me, and so he had a build that was working and flying, and he let me fly it FPV in manual mode, rate mode, which this is months after I started flying in rate mode myself, line of sight, and it was very natural, right? Like as soon as I got on it, I flew it around the soccer field that we were at and did a bunch of laps, and it was really fun, really nice, and I don't think I even crashed. I'll have to go check with that guy to see if I did or not, but I'm pretty sure that I landed it successfully without breaking his machine. So you know what I should have done? Is remembered which direction each of those are. Oops. So that's the Racer3 as bare as it gets. I've just taken all the stuff off of it to transfer it over to this new chassis. So does that answer the question about first flights? Actually, I know that this one was down here, so we can at least get that one right. Pretty sure this one was up here because I remember it had a really nasty looking solder joint. What other questions do you guys have? Definitely throw it in a super chat and I'll be sure to help you out with it as best I can. And even if you don't have a question and you just feel like being nice, throw a super chat. That is the biggest PCB I've ever seen. Dude, that's nothing. There used to be... they used to come out with PCBs for the ZMR 250 that would like literally be this entire plate, and that's like twice as long as this thing is. It's nuts. But with the Racer3, you gotta remember that it's about being able to build a large quantity of them, right? They have freaking 300 quads. Why people use a GoPro instead of RunCam Split? Because GoPro is just way better quality. What's the weight of the DRL drone? With everything on it, it weighs about a kilogram. The ones on the show are a kilogram, anyway. About to storm like crazy outside. Couldn't be out flying even if I wanted to. How many GoPros have you killed? More than 5, less than 10. Which I think is on the low end. So I'm just trying to screw motors on here. Is the flight controller proprietary? No, it's a Moto Labs Tornado Moto Lab flight controller. Like it's the Impulse RC one. You can get it off the shelf. I thought DRL repairs the drones for you, but you're repairing one. That is correct. They do build the drones for us, but the ones that we have at home for practice, we fix ourselves, just because it would be more efficient than like sending the whole, you know, just like if it's got a broken motor or something like that. You know, plus it's good entertainment, right? You get to see how this thing is built. So the ones that we fly, like in competition, they build. But the ones that we practice with, you know, we all know how to build a drone, so we fix it. How much amps does the BEC deliver for all those LEDs? I believe that we use like 7 amp BECs. Like they're big monsters. They're not anything special. Like they're just Palulus. But yeah, I believe that they deliver a lot. I don't think that the LEDs don't need that much, but they just way over build, so that, you know, just being forward thinking, like, you know, if they change something or if they need to add something, you know, it's better to be over prepared than under, I guess. How do I calibrate my ESCs? I would say just go search YouTube for some videos on that. There's probably going to be hundreds that will explain it better than I can right now. But yeah, if you just search BL Heli calibrate ESCs, there should be some results that come up. Yeah, also if you run D-Shot, you don't have to calibrate. How many quads do you get for practice? They send you 1 at the beginning of the season, sometimes 2 depending on certain circumstances, but they send you spare parts for everything to be able to fix it up. So it's not, you know, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's, you know, whatever is necessary for your situation. In my case, because I was in season 2, I already had one. So they only sent me 1 this season, so it was nice to have 2 for practicing on. But right now I'm down to 0, so I'm trying to get these fixed up so I can get some good practice in this week and the weekend. How much do you get paid as a DRL racer? That's a good question. I'm not comfortable answering that like as a whole, just because, you know, that's a personal question, but it is competitive. Like it's a nice bump, but it's not enough to live on. That's the way I'll answer that question. Do you run 5.8? At home, yes. At races, no. Holy cow. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it just started storming like crazy outside. What soldering iron is that? It's a AUE INT 937, but I've got like an extra little bit on it to keep it cooler because it gets hot. The handle gets hot, and so I have this makeshift extra handle. And let me know if you guys want to see anything differently or from a different perspective or whatever. You'll probably hear my cat. She hates storms. If not 5.8, which? I can't answer that question. I'm not allowed to. So you have to guess on your own. Oh, I just got some new solder the other day. Are the ones in the DCL drones brighter? I don't know. I assume they're all the same, like, actual LED. I think theirs are covered with a more translucent material than the DRL ones are. So they're probably more visible, but I wouldn't say that they're not brighter, if that makes sense. Can you tell us if we guessed right? No, because you will never guess. What motors are those? These are the Brother Hobby 2207 1800 kV. Oops, just wired that up backwards. DCL is more audience friendly. I'm not disagreeing, but what do you mean by that? What was your old YouTube name again? It was Boba Fett. Bull Buffett. Tina Stormcaller is on it. Love it. What? Can you tell us why they choose to fly this unspoken band? Don't know what that means. What do you think is better, DRL or DCL? I think that the best case scenario is that we have competing leagues no matter what. It's going to grow the industry overall, create competition, push each other. So I don't think anything's better. I think it's all good, if that makes sense. I can tell you, I think I would rather fly for DRL than for DCL. I think I would enjoy it more. I think that DRL has an awesome team of people that have been very successful in the media industry in their careers, and they have some amazing assets related to that. And I'm not saying that DCL doesn't have these things, I just don't know. But these are the things that I do know about DRL and why I think it's going to be successful. She's afraid of storms, and there's a storm going on right now, so she just mews. Bubbles, come here. She's pretty funny. Yeah, Flex is her catnip. No. Yeah, let me go see if I can get her. One sec. scared cat. What do you think about this? What is that? My cat has special needs. She's got the cat equivalent of cerebral palsy. So she's a little bit not super comfortable on her feet. So same question as Flux Compatitor. Are the DRL props DAL? No, they are HQ 6x4x3. It is really coming down out there. Okay, I need some clear tape. What do you think of the Fat Shark HDOs? I will never go back to my OLED or non-OLED screens. The HDOs are gorgeous. So this is just packing tape so that I can leave the LEDs visible. Is the camera angle for the GoPro fixed? Yes. What angle is it? It's probably 30. I don't know exactly. Is the HDO2 worth waiting for?